Hey everybody, this is Haven the Hare, and welcome to How Haven Did It for Session 11, the beginning of Chapter 4 of Hoard of the Dragon Queen. This is the video where I'm going to talk about the behind the DM screen side of things, how I changed things and what had to be changed and modified from the campaign book, and how my party accepted things and how I did things as the DM. So to start off with, if you've watched the campaign diary for this exact same session, you'll notice though that we had one of our characters disappear surprisingly and mysteriously in the middle of the night. Rosalind packed her bags and left quickly in the middle of the night without alerting the rest of the party. Mysterious. Completely plausible. Ooh. But in reality, unfortunately, the player who was playing Rosalind had to step back from our campaign. So Rosalind's still out there. We'll see what happens with her character later on down the line and whether or not she might make another appearance or not. We don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's what happens in real life. And so as a DM, I had to adjust for it. Luckily, we were in a very easy situation for that to be. It wasn't like in the middle of a fight or they just walked into a fight and I had to make a player disappear or a character disappear. This was a very easy way to do that. So there's your reasoning why. Anybody who's actually played D&D could probably have read that and saw between the lines, but it was an easy enough way to do it. So as my party left Green Nest, and they took a little bit longer than I was hoping they would. I was really hoping to get a bit more of this in there, but they had some stuff they wanted to do. It was outfitting Eddie with some new gear, so they could replace his rusty short sword and loincloth. There's some actual armor and a hand crossbow. They wanted to be able to talk about the egg and see about how they were going to go about either keeping it or getting rid of it. That took a long negotiation between myself playing the Governor Nighthill and Escobart and Leotian, who were all for not having the egg stay in Green Nest against the players who were trying to have Green Nest keep the egg. That took a lot longer than I thought it was going to, but it was a good time. It was a lot of role playing going on there as we negotiated and just had pros and cons and everything for it. So it was a lot of fun. They did end up deciding to keep the egg, which then led into the next part. So by reading Sly Flourishes, I'm going to go all the way back to Chapter 1. In Chapter 1, when Green Nest was attacked, there was an adult blue dragon who was menacing the town by flying over and striking lightning and trying to generally just cause havoc and be a fearsome presence during the raid. Totally plausible, but why would a dragon be helping the cult? That's where the question really comes up. Maybe the dragon does want the same as the cult, but I kind of felt that the dragons might not have the same views as the cult. As weird as that sounds, they may worship the dragons, but the dragons, being sentient and intelligent, might have their own beliefs on how things should be done. In this particular case, I decided that the blue dragon, Leviathan, let's call him that, Leviathan did not want Tiamat to come back. In their opinion, Tiamat coming back means subjugation, meaning that they will no longer be freedom. They'll have to actually do as bid and commanded by their queen. Right now, they're free. So the blue dragon is of the opinion that this particular dragon did not want it. So why would the blue dragon still be helping? Blue dragons, if you dig deep into some of the older lore, are one of the few dragons that actually do help raise their own eggs. At least that's what I came up with and found in my readings. And I was like, I like this. This gives us a reason. And there are eggs in the hatchery. So this ties into the hatchery later on that they would find a blue egg. So by finding the blue egg, there's the leverage against the blue dragon. They're keeping the egg away from the blue dragon. And it ties in. Great. If the party had left the blue egg in Green Nest, eventually would have found out that the dragon came and tried to negotiate with the governor. I probably would have, depending on how the party had become attached to Green Nest, may have had Green Nest get attacked by the dragon to take it back. Maybe they would have gone with a negotiation. I don't know. We didn't go down that path, but that would have been an option. As it was, the party kept the egg. So I decided to break up what would be just a boring 6 days of travel with this encounter with the adult blue dragon in the morning. Leotian and the rest of the party kind of bombed some of their perception rolls. The dragon actually showed up in the middle of the night. The dragon wasn't found until Lutau made just a really great perception roll during his 2-hour watch. So he was able to realize something was out in the darkness, raise the party. They were awake and ready. Now, the dragon wasn't attacking. The dragon literally was there to negotiate for the egg. The party did exactly that. The dragon was happy. I feel the party was happy with the way things went out. They understand that maybe they also got a hint that maybe the dragons, some of the dragons, may not be looking forward to the return of their queen. Some maybe are, some maybe aren't. Maybe there's some friction amongst all of the dragon colors, just like any other race. So they negotiate, they get the information they want, they give back the egg, dragon leaves, leaving behind a single scale. Fire really, really was attached to the egg, and this is one of those times where I'll actually say that I felt both happy and sad as a DM. Fire is played by one of my other players' kids. She's 11 years old. This is the first time she's ever played anything like this, and she had become really attached over the last couple of sessions to this egg that they'd been toting around, and she's the one who found it, and she helped dig it up. She was all about this egg. So to have the party lose the egg, she understood why. That's not the question. She completely agrees with the negotiation, the way it came down, and getting the information, and this is the parent of this egg, and they're returning the kid to the parent. She gets that. That's not the problem at all. She just really wanted to raise a dragon or keep the egg and study it and have it be part of their lineage. This is, and it's really cool. It was a good, she's a kid, right? Okay, they do that. So yes, leaving the dragon scale behind was kind of my way of saying, you lost your egg, but here's another really important shiny thing that you can have to show that you met a dragon. What it's going to end up being, I don't know. We're going to see exactly how the story plays out. So they end up having this long and involved story, negotiation with the dragon. It breaks up the monotony of this 6 days of travel, and they move back onto El Terrell. Now, El Terrell, they get there. We unfortunately were getting kind of late in the evening. We played for like 3 hours on a Monday night. So it was getting a little late by the time in real life, we were getting a little late by the time they reached El Terrell. We play for about 3 hours on Monday nights, and we do it right after dinner. I have 2 kids who are in school playing in my party, and I have a bunch of adults who've got day jobs. So by 10 o'clock, we're wrapping things up. We were at about 9:30 when we hit El Terrell, and I didn't want to get into a heavy amount of what I was hoping to put forward. I did hint at it, though. There will be a pit. There will be a unarmored, unarmed combat in the 2 black antlers to show off. We'll see where that goes. I didn't want to get into that. That was going to be a long fight. That's going to be an actual competition fight is what we're about to go into. So we paused there. We ended there. Adding the pit, adding those kinds of things, it's not necessarily in the book. The dragon part, by the way, is not in the book at all. That was totally added by me because of the suggestion of Sly Flourish, as well as some of the other things that I'd read and some of my other friends who just ran this campaign. They mentioned doing competitions and showing off for Ulfram to impress him. I decided I wanted to do a fight pit because I felt that was the only way I was going to get my monk and my barbarian to participate, possibly. The other players were a little more apt to show off a bit more. Really kind of odd, though, that Callie hasn't shown off yet. I really want to try and find a way for the bard to show off in this kind of situation to try and impress Ulfram. We'll see exactly where that ends up. We're going to have an evening of fighting. We did show up midday, so I figured we got a little bit of a break. They've had some partying, they get some food in them, and then we're going to push all the tables to the side, and we're going to make a fight pit in the middle of the bar, because that's what happens, okay? I work Ren fairs. That happens in real life if you're with me. So that's what we're going to be. That's what we're going to pick up next week is probably start off with the fight pit probably right off the bat, or at least signing up for the fight pit and seeing who else maybe sussing out the other contestants who I'm still creating. You know what? I'm going to have a little bit of fun. This video is probably going to launch the weekend before we do this. If you have a suggestion for who would be a good or an archetype or a type of character that would be a good combatant for my players to face in this fight pit, throw it out there. I want to hear about what you think would be a cool unarmored, unarmed combat style. Your monks, your barbarians. But if you maybe got a different one, like an outlandish combination of class and race that you think would be really cool in this kind of combat, throw it at me. I'm all for it. I would, let's have a little bit of fun with this. So that's about it. We're about to wrap up into the next session. So at session 12, we'll see where that goes. I do want to make a comment, though, that if you look down below and you see that I'm under 100 subscribers and you subscribe, when I do hit the 100 mark, I will be giving away a dice pouch that I make, which you guys look below. You'll see It'll be a medium-sized dice pouch in the anodized in color, or it'll be a large dice pouch in silver, whichever one you decide, and I'll make it for you. Randomly chosen from the 100 subscribers that I have. I will never monetize this channel because I hate commercials. But if you would like to support me in what I'm doing and maybe even help out my party a little bit, do buy my card game down below, 5 Minute Sword Fight, or check out all the dice pouches I can make in my Etsy store. I can make any combination just about. Check it out. Have any questions? Email me. If you want to talk about what I'm doing, email me. You want to talk about how I pulled some of this stuff off and what I came up with and where I found some of the information that I did, shoot me an email. Make a comment. I love talking about D&D. I was raised on doing D&D, which, speaking of which, actually, I'm going to point out a good podcast that just started about the same time I was filming this. Raised on D&D podcast. They did a great job. That dad is doing some great stuff with his kids, as well as interviewing like the granddaughter of Gary Gygax. Good stuff. Go watch it. And with that, I've been Haven the Hare, and may you make all of life's saving throws. With that, I'm Haven the Hare, and I hope you make... that's a bad one, but mess up my own tagline. Rosalind packed her bags and left quickly without another... Blah, blah, blah.